get comfortable here on this couch.
Good luck.
You know what, Death Dolls? I feel like it's been a month of Sundays, but here we are.
Hi, y'all.
Just ready to bring you guys more installments, and y'all know the function. I'm Nikki Elliott Nelson.
And I'm Mocha Pennington.
And thank you guys so much for joining us here on Makeup and Murder, the YouTube channel where we like to discuss health, fitness, beauty, and we also bring you a very, very true crime story. I guess we're here. Guess we're doing this shit. How the hell have you guys been? It's been so long.
It has been a while.
It has been forever and a day. I hope everything's been treating you well. Life has been doing good.
Did y'all get your vaccines? Are y'all vaccinated?
Are you Moderna? Like, what do they call them? Because they have names. It's like Moderna something, and it's the
Johnson Johnson.
Yeah, they have little acronyms. Did you? Okay, so did that one give you any like pain side effects?
Well, the first time I got it, like I felt like I was a little sore, like my arm for like a day or two.
Yeah.
The next time, not the next day, but the next shot I got, the second one, I went to the gigs.
I heard the second shot puts you through it. Yeah. I heard the second shot puts you through your paces.
I woke up in the middle of the night. I couldn't breathe. Almost I was freaking out.
Yeah.
It lasted like 5 minutes. Yeah. But I felt like it lasted like a year. I was like, oh my, I can't breathe.
Yeah. I got the Johnson & Johnson. One shot, daddy over here.
Did you feel the symptoms too?
No, it was awful. It was for like 2 days. I was like under the weather. I wasn't doing great.
He just got his. He got the Johnson Johnson. I was like, okay, like you about to go to the eggs. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you.
Yep. Yeah.
Thanks a lot for that.
It's happening. You guys, so happy to have you here. So glad to be back. Super exciting. We have one hell of a story for you today. But before we pop into that, I think Mocha has some beauty tips that she would like to share.
Yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about Mara Beauty.
Yeah.
They released their second collection, I believe, House of Avarice.
Yeah.
Honey, it was like 2 palettes and a pressed glitter palette. Now, I'm wearing Greed on my eyes with a little bit of something else because like I started doing my makeup because I knew we were going to film today.
Right.
I was like, I'm going to use the Greed palette. But I picked up another one, not thinking. I started doing my makeup. And I was like, oh, hell, honey. I'm supposed to use the Greed palette. Right. So it's Greed with a little bit. Now, I love this. Like, look at the packaging first, y'all. She is cute.
She's super cute. Isn't she adorable?
Now, the colors, honey. I am in love with the colors. I'm wearing the middle shade on my eyes. And I have this one right there is in my crease.
Yeah.
I love her.
You know what word kind of comes to mind for some reason? Even though it's green, icy. Like, I don't know, I just see it as like, ooh, that is an icy green palette.
I love it.
So cute.
And they also have the Lust palette. Again, I love the packaging.
They have the cutest names and the cutest packaging.
I love the anal bead, or the snake turning into an anal bead.
Oh my God. If you move in a little closer, I think they can see. Y'all see the snake turning into an anal bead? They're cheeky.
They are.
Over at Mara Beauty.
The guy kind of reminds me of Prince a little bit.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
He's giving like slightly Prince vibes. I see the function.
I love this palette as well. Obviously, I love the middle shade.
It's well loved.
She's my favorite. Like, I use her in other palettes, that middle shade. That's my favorite shimmer. I also love that one, too. That one's so pretty.
She's so cute.
She is.
Where can people pick this up if they like it?
Well, hold on.
Oh, wait, we got one more. So you get so much with the bundle.
Yeah, I got the bundle, yeah. It was like $50. And you get the little pressed glitters. Because people don't like pressed glitters because, like, you put glitter on your eye, honey, you're going to find it and you're like, everywhere. You're gonna find it in places, honey. You're like, wait, hold on. You're gonna be girl.
I mean, but that's half the fun. You know?
Well, I wore this.
Where am I gonna find it today?
You give birth to your baby, comes out with glitter on.
Oh, that's where I put that. Cool.
Well, honey, you can go to MaraBeautyCo.com. Get it right.
You did.
Okay.
You did. You got it totally right. Yes.
There'll be a little thing underneath there.
Yeah.
And you can use code TEATIME
for 15% off your next order. Or any order after that, you know? So like...
Stock up, honey. They have other palettes. I believe that we reviewed their Bloodline palettes
on our other channel. Oh, yeah, no, on this one.
Yeah.
Wow, full circle moments. It's been such a long minute that we're actually coming full circle. It's crazy.
They're good. Like,
they are.
Like, I love their shadows.
You know, it's crazy, too, because when we have an affiliate code with them now, but the first time we reviewed Bloodline, we did not have affiliate code with them, and we do now.
Yeah, they're
good.
They're so good, yeah.
They're really good. You guys have to check them out. Okay, so before we pop into today's story, I've got to give a shout out to my girl over at Demon Beauty. Her link will be down in the description box because she is the person who put me onto this story. And as soon as I figured out about it, I was like, we absolutely have to cover it. It is fabulous, fantastic, everything you want in your
day-to-day life.
In your day-to-day life. You guys will have to forgive me because literally I wrote this story like 2 months ago, like a month ago. You know, so I might be a little rusty, but you know what? Will you like count me in? Warm up with me.
Yeah.
Let's get warm together. Okay, so it says here, being a member of the LGBTQA community is something that I am very proud of, and I'm sure Mocha is very proud of it as well. We're like super complex, beautiful, and influential. Though we seldom get credited, you can see our influence in film, fashion, pop culture, and even in the slang that inevitably makes its way into suburban America. Every once and again, there is a show that tells our stories in their rawest, most genuine form, and for me, Pose was one of those shows. Though Pose has taken its final bow at the end of its 3rd season, during Pose's 2nd season, the cast and crew told the story of Elektra's transition from fatal house mother to a dominatrix. I love Elektra.
God may have blessed you with Barbies, a backyard with a pony in it, a boyfriend named Jake, and an unwanted pregnancy that your father paid to terminate so you could go to college and major in being a basic bitch. None of these things make you a woman.
Clear your throat.
Lubricate.
Now read that, bitch.
Your uniform of ill-fitting J. Crew culottes, fake pearls, and 50-cent scrunchies cannot conceal the fact that you do not know who you are. I know our presence threatens you. We fought for our place at this table, and that has made us stronger than you will ever be. Now pick your jaw up off the floor and go back to your clam chowder and shallow conversations. My girlfriends and I aren't going anywhere.
It is so crazy, and if you watch that show, you see how like, it's so nuanced the way that they brought life to her character, and you start out hating her, thinking she's like the bane of existence, and by the end, she's like the mother that everyone deserves. Like, I love her so much. Not only was she good at being a dominatrix, but she made a lot of money at it. Until one day, one of her clients they died just a little bit. Like, her client may have died just a little. So for the exact details, you can stream Pose on Netflix. It's there. Go ahead, watch the 1st and 2nd season. Maybe if it gets really popular, they'll like give us a 4th season.
Maybe. Don't forget the network.
It's not like, come on HBO Max. Come on, pick it up. But if you want the details on the true story that the storyline was built off of, then we've got you covered right here. This is the story of Dorian Corey, the mummy in the closet. So Dorian Corey was something of like the grand dame of New York's ballroom scene. This was never made more clear than her appearance in the 1990s cult classic, Paris is Burning. Have you guys seen Paris is Burning?
No, I never have.
Oh, it's so good.
I heard it was like amazing.
It's definitely a sign of the times. It transports you to a moment in life. It's really good. Now, in the film, Dorian talked about the complex nuances in the ballroom community. A community that would later be explored by Madonna and the mainstream sectors of society.
All of the same thing. then you have to go to the fine point. In other words, if I'm a black queen and you're a black queen, we can't call each other black queens because we're both black queens. That's not a read, that's just a fact. So then we talk about your ridiculous shape, your saggy face, your tacky clothes.
Let me see what you are.
Let's
see.
No paint.
Oh, yes, it's
no
paint.
motherfucking paint,
It's
girl.
paint.
What?
She wears more makeup than my mother did.
Then reading became a developed form where it became shade. Shade is, I don't tell you you're ugly, but I don't have to tell you because you know you're ugly. And that's shade.
She cheekily defined shade, reading, and spread pearls of wisdom throughout the film, but every grande dame has a beginning. Now, Dorian Corey was born in 1937 and raised on a farm in Buffalo. You want to talk about humble beginnings.
Okay.
Buffalo,
New York.
Buffalo, New York, yeah, for sure. Now, Dorian was forced to grow up pretty quickly. When she was really young, her mother had a kid, and Dorian took on the huge role of like primary caregiver. And like over on Demon Beauty, she explains like how Dorian Corey's mother basically like one day showed her how to like warm up formula, do a couple other things, change like a diaper, and then said, all right, I'll be back. And so like that was her introduction into raising kids, right?
I hate that.
I just feel like it's a childhood stolen.
Yeah.
I just feel like, that's not great.
Well, girl, I'm going out, honey.
Now, in her early years, Dorian would perform at drag shows in Buffalo. And aside from that, she worked at, and this is gonna be so hard, it's called Henna Gears. Henna Gears, I guess, is like a shop where she would dress the mannequin in the store window. So yeah, it was definitely a shop of some sort.
Yeah.
So, listen, you can't be a big fish in a small pond forever, right? And so Dorian said, I gotta hit it, gotta be out of here. She moved to New York City where she attended the Parsons School of Design. Now, one thing that we have to mention about Dorian Corey, of course, is that she, she kind of, if I have to be absolutely correct, like she was definitely a performance artist. She was born male, but later there's some nuance there, right? Now, of course, when moving to New York City, you move to the Village. The Village is a historically gay-friendly part of town and the epicenter of the 1960s counterculture movement. There was almost nowhere else for her to go. Now, this may come as a bit of a shock to y'all, but the LGBTQ scene is pretty segregated. There were drag shows back then, but they were in neighborhoods that black women in drag just didn't go to necessarily. Dorian, though, had like a bit of an advantage. She was light. And like, when I say light, like light, bright, almost white, honey. Like, so this allowed her access to competitions that most BIPOC drag queens just weren't allowed into. Mm-hmm. Now, as to be expected, Dorian slayed. Not only was she a natural entertainer, but she had a keen eye for design, which gave her an edge over anyone that she dared compete against. Remember, she went to a school for design. Yeah. So she was like, oh, honey.
I got this.
I got this in the bag. Now, to understand this next part, we have to do a little bit of preamble, right? So the LGBTQA plus children often face discrimination, cruelty in our formative years, and often it worsens in adolescence up to and including being abandoned by our parents. Mm-hmm. Now, to help cope with this, LGBTQA youth often join a house. Typically named after a high-end fashion designer, it is not atypical that each person living in the house was expected to compete in something that's called a ball. Now, a ball is like the Super Bowl for gays and girls alike. There are categories like schoolboy realness, where contestants are expected to replicate their best schoolboy look, or face, where prizes go to the contestants who serve the best face. I mean, you kind of have to like be there to see it, but It's quite a sight to see if you ever get to see one. They still hold these balls from time to time.
I've never been to one.
You know what? I actually have gone to 2 balls. And at first I didn't know what to expect because I was 19. It was 6 years ago. So I didn't know what to expect, but I got there and like the energy and the vibe and like that. Everybody had sort of like an awareness of what was going on. I didn't. I was like a fish out of water. But then like once I got into it, I was like, this is kind of amazing.
I guess my invite got lost in the mail.
I mean, I don't know where you were at that time. Yeah, it was 6 years ago. You couldn't do anything. Now, oftentimes the cost of being associated with the house was to walk in the ball and be best in your category. And in exchange, sometimes you were like afforded like a place to stay, or your house mother would take care of you, give you money when you needed it, things of that nature. Now, Dorian gained such notoriety that she started a house of her own. And according to Beauty Demon, Dorian became friends with Jenny Livingston, a documentary filmmaker who was interested in the ballroom scene. She shot a film, Paris is Burning, featuring local drag legends, and that included Dorian Corey. Now, the film went on to critical acclaim, and the rest of that is history, but just to put things into perspective, to be considered good in the BIPOC LGBTQA community, you have to be great. You have to be willing to work 4 times as hard, knowing you will only get a fourth of what your straight white peers may be afforded. And Dorian was it. Now, at one point, she was invited with her castmates on the Joan Rivers show.
If I say I want to join the House of LaBeija, do I get in?
It used to be easy.
Yeah,
But it's
so it's
no
really like a
longer
fraternity,
easy.
so it's like...
Yes, it's like a fraternity in a college.
Now they want you to win. In other words, you have to go to the ball and make a statement. You've got to win a trophy, and then
maybe they'll let you
the
come
house.
into the house.
Flash forward to 1993. The AIDS epidemic was sort of a big deal, and it was out of control. And Dorian ended up passing away from AIDS-related complications. So this was before PrEP. You know, nowadays an HIV diagnosis is a far cry from a death sentence. You know, now you get diagnosed, the doctor gets you on a regimen, soon you're undetectable and you're on your way to Fire Island. But back then, the gift that kept on giving gave until the girls couldn't take any more. So in the last year of Dorian Corey's life, Louise Taylor was taking care of Dorian and made a deal with her that once she passes, Louise could have all the stuff that was in her, like in her drag closet. And if you know a queen's drag closet, it is not one to be fucked with. Like a queen's drag closet is, because I mean,
it's like a shopping mall, honey.
It's like because it has all the equipment to turn a queen into a queen. Not like a girl, not like a boy, but like a queen. So she basically told her she could keep the entire content of her closet, she could keep what she wanted, and donate the rest of it as she saw fit. So Dorian pretty much knew that she was, you know, on her last days, and she wanted someone to like care about her stuff, to like take care of it. So once Dorian passed, Louise went about the business of clearing out Dorian's belongings. And when she was doing so, she happened upon a very large, very heavy green plaid garment bag. Now, after trying really briefly to move the bag by herself, Louise solicited the help of either it was a friend or someone she had invited over to sort of go through Dorian's closet and pick out things that they wanted to maybe purchase or just, you know, take.
Sounds like a boutique.
Yeah,
Dorian's
Dorian's closet.
Yeah.
You know what? Put a pin in that.
Okay.
Put a pin in that. You'll have to cut this. We're getting stolen by the girls. Now, after they both tried moving the bag, they both failed together, and they decided it would be easier to just open it and take the items out individually, right? So Louise grabbed some scissors and dug into it, only to be met by this smell of what she describes the most terrible smell I've ever encountered in my entire life. Now, Louise immediately got the authorities involved, saying, "I didn't know what was going on, but I wasn't taking any chances." Police arrived on the scene shortly thereafter to find the body of a partially mummified man wearing only a pair of boxers. The body had been partially preserved with fake leather and plastic bags. Preserved well enough to be partially mummified, but not well enough to finish the job, producing a liquid that the body was essentially floating in.
Ew.
The man was identified as Bobby Well. So here's the deal with Bobby Well. And we don't really entirely know the whole story. Bobby Well had a past history of some run-ins with the law. He was never really stable, sort of a drifter. He only had like one surviving family member, a brother of his. And the brother said, he, used to stay with him. Bobby used to stay with him, but, he got into it with the next door neighbor. So to be more clear, the next door neighbor's child. And so they were like, okay, so you can't stay here anymore.
He was fighting the kid?
Like it was very close to a physical altercation with the next door neighbor's kid. So brother was like, listen, Bobby, you got to go.
Yeah.
Like you gotta be out of here, right? And so he said like he would hear from him like through the years, but the calls got more sparse and he just thought like, all right, so I guess his lifestyle sort of caught up to him in one way or another.
Oh God, I said he like he cared too much.
It didn't seem like he cared too much, but it also seemed like Bobby might not have been like the most stable person to be around. Now here is the lowdown. It is rumored that Bobby and Dorian had some sort of a relationship going on, and that Dorian sort of withstood a lot of maybe physical and mental abuse from Bobby, which stands to reason. It makes a little bit of sense. There was actually a clip when she went on the Joan Rivers show, and Joan Rivers asked her, because she had a breast augmentation. And Joan Rivers said, I'm looking at you and I see breasts. Like, what's that about? And Dorian was kind of very transparent in saying, it's something that I did when I was younger because it added to like the performance value of the show. Like it made it like a really good, like look at this, isn't this fantastic? But, later in life she was like, I'm not in the shows as much as I was anymore. And, now I can't leave the house without doing a full beat, full glam, or else it gets kind of weird. So the tea there may have been a little bit of controversy in Bobby sort of forcing it on Dorian to have that procedure done. Because apparently there was like a story that Dorian had written about a lover who was physically abusive and had forced the protagonist of the story to undergo a sex change. So we're thinking that has something to do with the death of Bobby and why he was mummified. They don't know, the police, they couldn't really tell you how long the man had been there. They said he had been there anywhere from like a couple of months to a couple of years. And I think it was like a couple of months up to 20 years. But the body had basically it was in such a state of decomposition that it's likely that it was there for a very long time. They found materials inside of the garment bag that were only produced and manufactured during a certain period in time. And that was well before her passing. And so we think it's about 2 decades. And she had moved, Dorian, twice. She had moved apartments twice in that span of time. So, could you imagine?
Carrying around that body?
Carrying around that body from location to location.
I would have just thrown it in the damn pier or something.
I mean, I can never figure out, but do you remember like the story in Pose that this was based on? She kept that body, Mother Electra kept that body hidden away in the closet for so long. They finally got rid of it. They did throw it. Spoiler alert, we don't want to tell the story because you guys may watch it. It's definitely worth a watch. But it has not spoiled the legacy of Miss Dorian Corey. She was still fantastic and fabulous in all the things that she did, and she did them extraordinarily well. But you know, every rose has its thorn.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can't imagine walking around, not only the physical labor of carrying that body.
I think she had like movers or something.
Well, I mean, and I would just be worried about the smell.
Yeah.
You know, you cannot get away with hiding a dead body for I mean, I guess you can. Dorian's like, really, Toots? You want a lesson? No, I try to stay away from homicide. You know, it's just, we're more party girls, you know?
Yeah.
We're more of like a fun time, you know, a few drinks here or there, you know, some happy-go-lucky. We don't
try to
like,
stay away from the homicide.
anything like felony related, not a great time.
Yeah.
We've heard things, we have friends, but we just try to stay out of that arena.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was a very interesting story, and I loved it so much. And you know, whenever we lost Dorian Corey, we did lose a true legend. I did not know years later, because you know, 1993, I'm only 25, I wasn't around. You know, so 1993 when Paris is Burning came out, or somewhere around in that area from 1990 to 1993, somewhere in there, you know, Paris is Burning came out, and I, decades later, finally watched it. I did not know that Dorian Corey had passed away. I did not know what she meant to this community. I did not know that, you know, Dorian Corey is mother, you know?
In that order.
In that order. And as all people in life, Mother Corey held some secrets. She definitely had some, because everybody does.
She took them to the grave.
Right, and she
This
took
was like,
them
yeah, have anything you want in my closet,
the
girl.
grave. But you know what? I think how lousy of it, because you know you're setting homegirl up, right? To find what's in this closet and to like deal with it.
Yeah.
I wonder through all that time, did she ever try to like confess to anyone or like let it out?
I mean, if she did, honey, they didn't say nothing.
They did not say a
well,
word.
no.
And that, you know what that's called? A real ass bitch.
A down ass bitch.
A down friend. You know, you always have to have those one or two death dolls. You have to have those one or two people in your life that I call them like to the grave friends. Like, you know, you always have those friends that no matter what happens, you know stuff between each other that you're taking to the grave. And it's just like, you might fall out with them a little bit. Like, y'all might have a fallout. Y'all might never talk to each other again, but you don't get too disrespectful because it's just like,
you don't tell the secrets.
You don't tell the secrets. You don't. So it's just, I love stories like that, and they're very endearing. It's so sad that that had to end in death, but Mother Corey's legend lives on.
It does.
What a good one.
I love that one.
I do too. So before we head out of here, Mocha, did you have anything else that you would like to say, Ed?
Check out our description box. We have things in there. We have the links. We have the link to Mira. We have the little the code y'all can use. We have our socials.
We have an entire other channel.
Yeah, the link's there.
Yeah, you could go ahead and check that out, you know. I forgot how we sign out of this show.
I forgot.
Oh, wait. I remember now. Life's a blush, and then you die.